All right, so we acquired two new baby burrowing owls. One's a female, one's male. And they're 3 months old now. We acquired them when they were 7 days old. And we got them right here from Zoo Knoxville. Their parents are on exhibit. And they laid a clutch of eggs, and the bird department was just going to have to pull them because they weren't going to be able to hatch them and be able to have them on exhibit because there wouldn't be enough space or anywhere for them to go. And so we decided to take advantage of this opportunity to have them as ambassador animals. So it's very crucial with some species to start training them at a very early age, such as owl species, because they have a very short learning window and they're very young where they will become okay and comfortable around people and novel situations. And so this is one species that we found that we have to acquire them at an early age to be able to make them successful ambassador animals, so they're not stressed when they're around large groups of people and new novel situations. So we're very hopeful that since we acquired both of these at a young age that they'll be able to be conditioned and used to and comfortable being in front of people and traveling to places for outreaches or on site. But sometimes we just have to work with these birds and see how they'll work out because they have different characteristics and different personalities. So we may get one bird that is very nervous around loud noises or large groups of people. And if we can train and condition them to be comfortable in those situations, then they might be very good candidates for outreaches and being ambassador animals. And then if not, sometimes they're just not the right tool for the job. And so we have to figure out how they can be utilized in an animal ambassador capacity. So one of our best training scenarios that we do is we try to train our birds since they're very young. We want to take advantage of this impressionability that they have. They're quite impressionable at this young age, so what we like to do is try to get them exposed to anything and everything that we can. Novel areas, novel items, toys, sounds, anything that we can think of to expose them to, just so that way that hopefully in the future anything novel, anything new that they may come across won't necessarily be scary. They'll be able to generalize and be like, oh, this is just more interesting than something that I should be afraid of. We also utilize some types of travel crates, and so they're trained to go into their travel crates. This is something that we started day one. As soon as they started moving and going for the food, we started training them to go into their crate. That way that the crate could be something that they're very comfortable with. So if we do take them on outreaches or anywhere else on site, if they were to get nervous or needed a safe place to go, then the crate would be one of those things. For example, we had our female burrowing owl take off, and we had to try and locate her. It took about 4 hours, and once we did find her, as soon as we set the crate down, she saw that crate and she ran right in. We weren't even showing her any food or anything. It was just the crate itself. As soon as she saw it, she come running right over and into her crate. So that just showed us that our crate training really did pay off that day. They have a very strong crating behavior. We'll also use treat pouches that will keep their food in. That way that we can have their food as a reinforcer when we're training and working with them. They eat mice, chick, quail. They're pretty big meat eaters. We'll also give them insects such as mealworms, waxworms as enrichment or as a training tool. They really like the mice, so we tend to stick with that. And with any bird, it just takes patience. With any training, it takes a lot of patience and just taking the time to do things the right way, not trying to force any behaviors. So it kind of goes with the word ambassador. They are ambassadors for their wild counterparts. Most people that come to the zoo probably aren't going to see some of the exotic animals that we have in our collection out in the wild. And so being able to give them these up-close experiences with these animals kind of maybe creates these like wow moments and kind of inspires them to care just a little bit more about these animals. And if they care, then they're more than likely to try and care for them and save them out in the wild.